Welcome to the 10-minute stretching routine for people who aren't flexible at all. If you're tight, achy, and stiff as a board, then you're in the right place, a safe space for inflexible people like myself. You're not gonna see any of this or this. We're keeping it realistic and effective so you can start improving your flexibility today. But before we get started, here's what I need you to know. This is the mistake almost every single stretching routine on YouTube makes, is that they have you hold stretches for 15 to 30 seconds only. Here's the problem with that. If you're a beginner, it takes you just 15 to 30 seconds to even settle into a stretch, to figure out where you should actually be feeling it. So by the time you're finally in the right position with the right sensation, the stretch is over, the timer's gone off, and you have to rush to get into the next position. That's why every single stretch in this routine, we're holding for a full 60 seconds. That gives you time to A, actually get into the stretch, and B, allow your body to sink into it and really develop that mind-muscle connection. Learning to feel what a good stretch is supposed to feel like and improve your flexibility along the way. And as a kinesiologist who's coached hundreds of people to better flexibility, I can tell you that this is the best way to actually improve as a beginner. I've also got Coach Ryan here to show you the modified, easier, friendlier versions of some of the stretches, so no matter where you're starting from, I guarantee that this is going to be approachable and effective for you. All right, let's get into it. Before we hop right into static stretching, because we're beginners, we're going to warm everything up with some dynamic movements. Starting with a cat-cow to lubricate the spine, we're going to go 12 reps here. So you want to start with your wrists under the shoulders and the knees under the hips. From there, we're going to do full flexion of the spine, even at the neck, and then we're going to extend all the way the other way. That's 1 rep. So let's get started at 1. Flexion, 1. Extension, 1. 2. Go at a nice, slow to medium tempo. 3. Try to articulate each segment of your spine. 4. And you should feel a nice stretch throughout each section. 5. Don't forget the neck. 6. You can even do a little bit of glute. 7. And core engagement by drawing your belly button in and squeezing your butt. 8. Let's go 4 more. 9. 10. 11. Last one, guys. And 12. Okay. We're gonna go into the world's greatest stretch now. I'm gonna do it elevated on a surface. You can also do it on the ground, but elevated is a good way to get started, especially if you're feeling stiff. All right, world's greatest stretch. So you can do this on a bed, sofa, or bench if you're at the gym. 1 foot up, the other foot back. The knee is straight. You're gonna sink down. And then from there, I'm gonna rotate through towards the ceiling, keep my elbow straight. I wanna make sure I'm staring at my palm as I rotate towards the ceiling so my neck rotates with the rest of my spine. I'm gonna feel it in my hamstrings, my mid back, and my hip flexors on that back leg. So let's go for 12 together. Again, 1, we're gonna go for medium tempo throughout the movement. 2, make sure you're not hunched over and you're not super flexed at the spine. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, last one, 4, 12. Nice, you should feel those hips starting to open up. Let's switch sides. 1 with the right, same thing, sink down nice and low, find your stretch. Rotate towards the ceiling. 1, make sure you're staring at your palm with your gaze, so your neck rotates with the rest of your body. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. All right, there's the dynamic warm-up. So you should feel a little bit loose. Let's go into our static stretches. All right, our first static stretch is a couch stretch with hamstring stretch combo. I'm doing the relatively more advanced version. Coach Ryan is doing the regress version. So if you feel like you can't get your foot up on a bench, a couch, or a shorter bed, then I would start here. So what you want to think about is squeezing the glute when you're in this position and having some activation in the core. So like I said before, I'm gonna get my timer up and we're going for 1 full minute starting now. So we're just hanging out here. Now, some of the sensations you should be feeling on the back leg, you should feel the front of the hip, and on the front leg, you should feel kind of the bottom of the hamstring, potentially closer to that knee instead of up here towards the glute. Again, try to keep an upright torso. You're not leaning forward. You're just hanging out right here. Once you find your position, take some nice deep breaths, and you're just gonna hang out. We're about halfway through, like I said. We're going for a minute because as we just saw, it takes about 15 to 30 seconds to really kind of understand where you're at, where your body's at in space. And having a little bit longer to stretch is gonna help you get into the right position and feel the correct muscles. And we got about 5 seconds there. Let's go ahead and switch. Other side. And I'm gonna get my leg out. Boom, started. So with this front leg, it helps if you have your toe up away from the ground. So if you have your toe down, you're not gonna get as much of a pull on your sciatic nerve or the back of the hamstring. So keep that toe up. Again, the sensations we're looking for our glutes to be firing and a nice stretch in the front of the hips along with the back of the hamstring, torso upright. We're not hinged forward and we're shooting for 1 minute. How's the stretch feeling, Ryan?
Nice, feels good.
Nice. Got multiple angles here. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all of that stuff. And if you do forget, it's okay. We're going on 10 seconds. Again, nice deep breaths, relax. Sometimes on that exhale, you can kind of get a little bit deeper into the stretch each time. All right, that was a minute. Let's move on to the next stretch. Second static stretch is the pigeon stretch, hitting the external rotators and the glutes. So I'm just gonna come down into the floor here with my leg externally rotated out in front of me, and I'm gonna sink my hip down. My back leg is relatively straight. I should feel it on the side of my hip. If this is too hard, what you can do is do what Coach Ryan is doing. This is the figure 4 stretch. So same thing, we're hitting the glutes, just a different position. I started the timer, we're going 1 minute here. Yeah, a lot of times with this one, there's a lot of pressure on the knee. So if you need to, you can even actually elevate the front leg, and you should be seeing that on screen right now as another regression, something in between the figure 4 stretch and the full pigeon stretch on the ground. You can just elevate that front leg. Again, inhale, exhale, keep some core engagement. Don't be all loosey-goosey with it. If you're feeling really good with this, you can even get down on the ground on your elbows to get an additional intensity or increase the intensity of the stretch through the glutes. This is a great one after leg day, or if you have really tight hips when it comes to squatting, the pigeon stretch is pretty solid because I'm also getting a little bit of a hip flexor stretch at the backside as well. All right, that was our minute. Ryan, let's go ahead and switch. Stretch it out, sit back, switch, ready, 1, 2, and 3. Timer is on. As you can see, I have a little bit more external rotation on my right side than I do my left, and that is gonna be normal. Some degree of asymmetry between sides, whether that be your hips, your shoulders, your ankles, is totally normal. And doing these single-sided stretches are gonna be really good to help you bridge the gap between sides. You may always have those asymmetries, it's okay. We just don't want huge asymmetries between sides. Again, with this one, you're breathing, you feel it in the glute, and yeah, we're holding for 1 full minute here, just hang out. You can move your hands up if you need to, or back down. And if you want a stretch in between, check out the B-roll. We have the front leg elevated pigeon stretch as well. All right, that's the timer, 1 minute. Great work. Let's move on to the next stretch. All right, next stretch is the 90-90 internal rotation stretch. So we did external rotation with the pigeon, now we're doing internal rotation, 2 parts of rotation for the hip. You're gonna set up in a 90-90 position, 90 at the ankles, knees, hips, same thing on that back leg. Sit up straight. Your back shoulder is gonna bend with your torso towards that back heel, and you're gonna support yourself by pressing down, leveraging into that thigh. Ryan's gonna be doing the easier version of this. So this is the supine internal rotation stretch. Stick one leg out to the side. You're gonna take the top leg and then bend it down, put it on your other knee to put pressure, pushing down into internal rotation. Make sure your hips are squared. All right, now that we got that, 1 minute starting now. Let's just hang out. For the internal rotation, what you should feel is a very deep capsular stretch is the best way that I could describe it. So it almost feels like you're stretching your bone, or you're stretching a very particular small stabilizer muscle in that hip. And some of you will feel a pretty intense oblique stretch. That's perfectly normal. So find that smaller intense stretch and nice deep breaths. With every exhale, digging deeper into the stretch. All right, switch sides. Let's get into the other side. Again, make sure you're maintaining that 90-90 position. And then you're gonna dip, whoops, let's dip the shoulder towards the heel. Press your hand into the opposite side for support, and then let's go for a minute starting now. All right, and again, same thing, you should feel it in the small stabilizer in the side of your hips. Perhaps it feels pretty deep, like a capsular stretch. Almost feel like you're stretching your bone, and then potentially a pretty intense oblique stretch. And Ryan is showing you the other way to do it. Hold for a minute. We're already 25 seconds in, and then let's focus on some deep breaths. With every exhale, we're getting deeper and deeper into the stretch while also allowing our body to relax. All right, that was internal rotation. Great work so far. You should be feeling pretty good. Let's go on into our next stretch. All right, we're going after the inner thigh and groin via the butterfly stretch. This one's super simple. It's one of my favorites. So what you wanna do is you wanna put your feet together, and then if you have relative range of motion starting out, you can grab some weights and you can kind of place them on the insides of your knees to get a little bit more of a stretch. But if you're first starting out, do what Ryan is doing. He's doing the beginner version. Now, very important here that you're not slouching forward because you're gonna lose that stretch in the groin. So make sure you're nice and tall, and ideally you're sitting behind a wall for support for extra deep intensity in the inner thigh. So the better the posture, the more you're gonna feel. Let's start our timer for 10 minutes, starting now. Sorry, not 10 minutes, 1 minute. And if you've made it this far, you're okay with the bloopers. We're just going with it, you know? Can't be hyper editing everything. All right, so same thing as last time. You should feel a nice deep stretch in the inner thigh, like pretty intense. Now, nice tall posture. Let's focus on our breath. With every deep exhale, we're gonna sink our knees closer to the ground. So, keep in mind, you don't need weights. I just am adding some weights for an extra bit of intensity. Start with what Ryan's doing initially, and you can even get it nice and active by forcing your glutes to fire as you push your knees towards the ground. That was a minute. That's all it took. We're almost there. We have one more stretch left. You're doing great. All right, last stretch, open books for the lower back, mid back, and hips. So what I want you to do is lie on your side. Your top leg is gonna come out to a 90 degrees. Your bottom arm is gonna lock it onto the ground. Bottom leg is straight. From there, just like we did in the world's greatest stretch, we're rotating open and we're gonna follow it with our gaze. And we're just gonna hold there for 1 minute, starting now. Nice deep breaths. This one should feel really good in the mid back, lower back area, and perhaps even in your hips. This is great if you sit all day or if you're about to sit all day. This is probably great for everyone because we're usually rounded at the shoulders, really tight in our chest. So it's a chest opener, mid back opener. It's gonna just feel really good when you're doing this in 2026, or maybe you're watching this a couple years from now. I'm sure tech still plays a huge role. We're still hunched over our devices, and this is the antithesis of that. So big deep breaths. You should feel with every exhale, that palm is that back palm is getting closer and closer to the ground. I mean, I started with my palm hovering a few inches off, and now I can already feel it touching the turf. All right, great work. Switch sides. Feel free to even do a little bridge in the transition just to kind of lengthen everything that was stretched. Let's switch to the other side, guys. Lay on your side. Here we go. And starting now, open up towards the other side. Make sure that knee is locked onto the ground. If it opens, you're just gonna be compensating and you're not gonna get the right stretch. So just hang out there and let's breathe. All right, that's a minute. I almost forgot. I was getting so relaxed. Stretch it out if you need it. Great work, guys. That was our 10-minute. I'm gonna walk over to you. So that was our 10-minute beginner stretching routine for people who are too tight for most of the stretching routines that are already on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed that. This was actually taken from our 12-week flexibility program in our longevity app. So if you want a really clear guided progression from super tight to flexible enough to do deep squats, to feel good in your body, I'm not promising you the splits or anything like that, but I'm just promising you functional flexibility that makes sense for your life, and you're not spending hours stretching. You're just doing it when you need it and then coming back to do some maintenance. So 12-week program in our app, 30-day free trial, hit the description down below. And if you enjoyed this or you're feeling good right now, I would love to hear from you. So comment down below. We work hard on all these videos, so just hearing from you, hearing if it's made a positive impact on your health really means a lot to us, to me, and to Coach Ryan, who's right behind the camera. So thank you for joining us. See you on the next one.